So, I have something to say.
Okay.
2 years ago,
Yes.
a movie came out.
Yes.
It was called Wonder Woman.
Yes.
We're going to talk about it today.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Back in May of 2017.
Nope, June.
Oh, it was June?
Yeah.
Seems like longer.
Oh, yeah, everybody. Welcome to the Media Lunch Break, bringing you all of your comic, geek, and movie news all in the time it takes to eat a good sandwich and then have some Sour Patch Kids.
Have a some Sour Patch.
I almost said have a patch of Sour Patch Kids, and I was like, that's not right. My name is Chris Trivial. Alongside me, as always, is my co-host, Andrew Dunn. Say hello, Andrew.
Sour Patch Kids are the devil.
Yeah, I'll accept that.
Yeah?
They're still delicious.
Well, the devil is delicious.
That's... Truer words were never spoken. So we're talking about Wonder Woman. I wanted to talk about this. I know it came out a while ago. I hadn't seen it yet because, life and that sort of thing. And part of me was like, maybe we can just skip it. But I feel like we should. It is, as they've been advertising, the first female-driven comic book movie. If you don't count Catwoman or Supergirl or
Tank Girl.
Or, the shitty ones, basically.
Elektra.
Or...
Oh, they're all so bad.
Yeah, they are really bad.
Debbie Does Dallas.
That one's fine.
Yeah.
Wait, the remake or the original?
Yes.
Okay.
The comic.
The source material?
Yes.
Yeah. It's really strong. That holds up. The source material.
Oh.
And... There's no way to get out of this. There's no way to get out of this bit without just looking terrible.
I'm just going to break out of the cycle.
Yeah.
So Wonder Woman has now, I believe, passed the other DCEU movies in total domestic gross.
In dollars, yes.
Yeah.
It also had the best second week.
Okay.
Like usually there's a steep drop off of like 60 to 70%.
Well, DC, for better or worse, always suffers or gains from word of mouth.
Right.
Batman vs. Superman had a huge opening weekend and immediately tanked after that.
Yes, exactly.
Same with Suicide Squad.
Even Marvel somewhat suffers from this. They don't have it as badly.
they all do. All movies.
Yeah. But this one actually, like I said, normally they drop off from like 60 to 70%. This one I think was down to like a 30-40% drop off, which was great. You didn't lose half your audience. You had them coming back for more or taking their friends to see it or something like that.
Right.
So that is worth noting. There's a lot I do want to talk about because this is an interesting movie to me in that a lot of people said this movie was... Some people say it's great.
Yeah.
Some people say it's terrible. I think a lot of people say it's okay.
Yeah.
You had said it was okay.
Yeah, I've seen it 3 times now. And the first time I saw it, it was fine.
Right.
The second time I saw it, I liked it a little better. And the third time I saw it, I felt about the same as the second.
Right. I just saw it this afternoon, so I've seen it one time, but it's fresh in my mind.
Great.
I would actually venture to say it's pretty good. I don't think it's great.
Right.
They say it's the best DC movie.
Yep.
I would probably agree with that.
I do 100%.
Yeah, I would probably agree with it.
At least DCEU.
Yeah. Oh, well, definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. The Dark Knight is hard to beat, but...
Well, yeah. I'm thinking of DCEU as well. And all I was trying to do in my mind, because I haven't seen Man of Steel in forever.
Ugh.
And I like that. But again, I have that feeling of like, kind of like I have with this movie, where I'm like, it's not great, but I don't find it as terrible as
I watched the movie for free on an airplane, and I was like, why am I doing this to myself?
You're like, I want my money back.
Yep.
But I do, yeah, it's probably the best one. It probably is the best one.
I think so.
That being said, there's still things about it that, didn't work for me or could use a little tweaking.
Well, I would say as well, there are a lot of small plot holes that we'll
right.
probably get into.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about this. Let's talk about what we don't like first, because I always hate ending on what we don't like, because it's such a downer.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what we don't like first.
All right.
You want to just give me... I'm just trying to...
Let me find you some...
I have a list of things, but I'm interested to see...
Oh, yeah, I don't have any list, but there were a number of little plot holes. One is... one of the plot holes that really bothered me the most, and it's the one that stands out the most in my mind, is when... By the way, spoilers. Because I'm jumping straight to the end.
Yeah, let's do it.
When Steve Trevor goes to open the door in the plane.
Yeah.
Why isn't it locked?
Because it's a plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And or why is that's really it? Like why is it? Why can he open it?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, there are little things in this movie. I will say this to kind of compliment while also giving a critique that. Most of the complaints I have in this movie are smaller things, at least smaller than they've been for the previous movies.
Yeah.
Things like that, where I'm like, you could have done that. DC is definitely, I think, learning from their mistakes.
Yeah.
And getting better at this. But there are little things like that.
Or like, why doesn't he jump out of the plane? Why doesn't he fly it super low to the ocean and then try to swim back? Like, he could have either flown it lower and then just jumped into the water and then it would have crashed itself. Or throw a grenade or something.
Nobody has a parachute.
Maybe.
Right.
Maybe he doesn't, but you still try. You don't just shoot the fucking thing and die because it's time to die. That's the same problem I had with Rogue One. Everyone's just ready to die because it's time to die.
Right, because they're in war and that's what you do. To be a valiant hero,
I guess, and maybe he is that type of person, but like I don't think he needed to be, and I think most people are like, if I can save the world and not die.
Yeah. Well, I think that, and he does strike me as that type of person who's like, if I can save the world and not die, I'll totally not die. I think then just fix that by having a split second where he's like, shit, no parachutes. You know what I mean? Like, just acknowledge, like,
even that, I'm like, take a chance, just jump. You're over water.
Jumping that high would kill you.
That's why I said bring it lower to the water.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And the force would probably still kill you, but like you got a better shot.
Well, I think the idea is that he wanted to go up high enough so that all of that gas is dispersed. Like it cannot...
Right, but if it just sinks into the ocean.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, there are little things like that can be fixed. There was one for me that it's kind of small and it's kind of big. They have, so in it, Steve Trevor gathers up this posse of people.
Right.
All, kind of dynamic in differences and things like that. And I get what they're doing. I don't really know, with the exception of the one guy who's supposed to be a sniper, I don't really know what they do. I don't know what their special skills are.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, this is the part where we gather a posse. But
I get the idea of that. I sort of get that. I mean, the one dude is an actor, right? He wanted to be an actor, but he's the wrong color, so he can become very... He can blends in.
I think that's what they were going for, but, like, it never really, like...
Yeah. Well, the one dude's a tracker.
Yeah, but they never really establish, like, exactly how skilled they are at this. I mean, I gathered, when he was talking about him being an actor, I was like, oh, I guess that's what he does. But it never, like, they never had a moment where they got to demonstrate, like, really that skill.
He sort of did. Well, that's the other thing, right? Is that, like, he
kind of did with the car,
right?
But then he kind of didn't because Steve Trevor is the one who thought up that idea on the spot.
I mean, it's maybe
because he's like, oh my gosh, we don't have an invitation. What do we do? And Steve Trevor was like, just go in with confidence. And I'm like, if that guy's whole skill set is like, I'm an actor, and so I can weave my way in and out of these situations. That guy would have been. It should have been reversed. He should have turned back to Steve and been like, don't worry. Follow my lead.
Well, he sort of did, though. I mean, I get that maybe he was nervous, but, like, he's still in the actual act of it as the one who was like, I'm so sorry. No. My master's going to hurt me.
Yeah, he dove right into it. But it struck me as, Steve's idea.
I'll be honest, the one that confuses the shit out of me is the Scottish sniper. I'm like, what? He literally can't do anything.
No, and that's actually the one that I most wanted to bring up. Because I think this was one of those times... this is the point. That was the point in the movie that I was like, okay, they're kind of learning from their mistakes and they're getting better, but they haven't quite hit it
they haven't landed
yet. Because they were in the battle, and they're like, shoot him, and the guy freezes up, and he'd already demonstrated that he had PTSD.
Right.
Which is a great detail. I was like, that's great that they include something like that. Cause
I believe they called it shell shock at the time.
They did.
Yeah.
But I wanted to use the
You wanted to be PC?
Yeah.
Good for you.
But I was like, that's a great detail to include about somebody, because that's a big aspect of this war and blah, blah. So he froze up and he couldn't shoot. And then I went, okay, that's great and all, but like, what the hell good is he?
Right.
Where they got better is like, in the next scene, instead of just like normally in the previous movies, I feel like they would have just had that detail and then never mentioned that it happened.
Right.
And this one, I was like, oh shit, now they're gonna, like, that's weird. And just as I was thinking it, she was like, he can't shoot. And I was like, well, at least they acknowledged it. Okay, that's good.
Sure.
So how do we get past this? So where I'm like, they still have a little bit to go. They're gathering up, and Steve Trevor is like, I'm gonna head on. You guys don't have to continue on. And everybody's like, no, we're gonna keep going with you. Except for him, he's like, guys, maybe I don't need to go with you guys. I think you guys are good without me. And they convince him to go on.
Yeah.
And I was like, to me, if you see that guy in pain, and clearly he can't fight because of his demons, and you understand where those come from, to me, the right choice would be to go, you know what, yeah, you have done enough. You don't have to feel bad about not wanting to go. You've earned your time.
Right.
You know, go with God. You're fine.
Well, I actually have a way that I think would fix that problem, which is, like, totally take out the, hey, should I go? And no, you shouldn't. Just accept that he's coming with because he's family. But, okay, he can't shoot people.
Right.
What can he shoot?
That's a good solution. No, I like that.
When I saw the plane was starting to take off, I was like, take out the tire.
Shoot the planes.
Take out the tire. It'll just fall over. I was like, that's perfect.
And that would be a great way, like, even if they kept the moment, he's like, I can't shoot people. And she still does the thing about, well, then who will sing to... Like, she still kind of coaxes him along.
Right.
And they all know he can't shoot a person. And he knows he can't shoot a person.
But now is his time to shine.
But now is his time to shine. I can do that. I'm still of value.
Because he's still the best marksman. He just can't shoot people.
Yes. And he can still... Yeah. So he can find value in himself.
There's a great anime that I'll probably assign to you at some point called Trigun.
Okay. I've heard of it.
Magnificent show. It is... all about a guy who is wanted by the law for, like, I forget, it's like $25 billion or something, because every town he goes to, he demolishes, and hundreds of thousands of people have been killed by him.
Right.
What you come to find out is that this dude is actually just living his life as peacefully as possible. He refuses to kill people.
Right.
The reason the bounty has gone up so high is because people keep trying to catch him for the money.
Right.
And they, in turn, destroy these towns and kill a bunch of people just in the wake of trying to catch this guy.
That's fascinating.
Who is so elusive.
Right.
And he's just trying to live his life in seclusion somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that there's a good turnabout that can be done with this character. Yeah. And like I said, at least they acknowledged the first thing.
I do agree. I think it should have been what Suicide Squad should have been. That we should have had, like, 3 incredibly eclectic, interesting, unique, colorful characters who each have their own strengths and weaknesses, right?
Right.
Like, if the Scottish sniper has this weakness, what are the others? What are their problems? Because the dude who just gets them into everything, I'm like, okay, but where does he fail?
Yeah, what can't he do?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I think, and kind of on that note of doing better but not quite landing it.
Right.
There was a point for me that, and this was the big one, that it didn't completely ruin the movie, but I was like, oh, you're so close to getting this right. Because it's kind of a crux of the movie, is that she's after Ares, the god of war, the whole time. And she's like, this guy is the god of war. He must be the god of war. If I kill him, the entire war is over. And she goes and she kills the guy. Surprise, surprise. The war is not over. And then Steve Trevor has this great monologue about, maybe it's not the God of War. Maybe it really is just us. Maybe we have to hold ourselves
Maybe
accountable.
man is flawed.
Maybe man is flawed, and we have to fix ourselves.
Yeah.
And you can help us do that. And I was like, that right there. When I heard that, I was like, yes, they've got it right. This is big. They've now made a picture that is bigger than just the movie that they're making. It has a message that plays true for today. It's a timeless message, but now more than ever, really plays true for today. And I was like, that's it. That's the movie. And then 2 minutes later, Ares shows up, and he's like, oh yeah, no, it was totally me the whole time.
Yeah, yep.
And I was like, damn it. But at the same time, I was thinking about it, I was like, I get it. They need to give Wonder Woman, they need to give this character a villain she can actually fight.
Yeah.
And it feels like a challenge. So I was like, just reverse those two.
Yeah.
Like, have her fight Ares. Kill Ares. And then she goes, well, the war's over. And then the plane is still taking off. And it's like, wait, why didn't it work? And that's what he has that monologue of like, maybe maybe it is us. We need to hold ourselves accountable. That has nothing to do with that guy.
I think that would have been a great choice.
Yeah, I wish they had flipped that. I think, like I said, they're learning from their mistakes. They attempted to make something greater than just the movie that they did. And in some ways they did. Because
without war, then what do they have to fight?
Right.
That's without Ares egging people on.
Right. Then the other thing is it also fixes kind of a large plot hole. It's not in this plot of the movie, but it is a large plot hole in that, she kills Ares and the war is over, but we know history.
Yep.
So we know there's
does this happen in a universe without the Korean War, the Vietnam War?
Or World War II?
Right, yes.
Right. But even without the other wars, like, we know there's an exact replica of this war about to come around the corner.
Right.
So if you kill Ares and then we see that the war hasn't ended, then it also fixes that. And it explains, like, well, how does this other... now, the way it stands, it's like, well, how does war continue on without it?
I also found, speaking of you bringing up her, his monologue, his beautiful monologue and her... saying whatever. I also found her to be... So let's get into the writing a little bit.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
I have a huge problem with the writing throughout the movie, and one of the problems is that Diana is... Look, they wanted to make her naive and not from civilized society.
Yes.
But Jesus, she's just a child.
She's really not... Yeah, it takes a lot for her to learn.
Well, and like, stuff like... Look, the No Man's Land scene is real cool.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't have happened. Because this version of Wonder Woman cannot see past the fucking nose on her face.
Right.
Because Steve Trevor's like, look, do you want to help these 4 people or do you want to save everyone?
Right.
While you're helping these 4 people, hundreds of thousands of people are dying right now. Yeah. The sooner we get there, the sooner those people stay alive, and we also help these people.
Right.
That's what should have happened. It was a really cool scene, but it should have been somewhere else. And on top of that, with the monologue that Steve Trevor gives that's beautiful, she's like, no, I can't do it. It's not worth it. And I'm like, no, this isn't our diplomat.
Yeah, you're not listening.
We need to see Diana Prince, the diplomat.
Right.
And see her be like, you know what, you're right, actually. Maybe it is just man. Maybe and maybe that's okay.
Yeah, I think that, and normally in the comics, she's not written as this naive. Every origin story that she has, she's not written as this naive. Usually what she goes in, and I think this is, you could have gotten essentially the same story, but less of the constant scenes of like, this is what you guys are doing? Like,
the whole sex scene? Like the talking about sex and the books of sex.
It was cute.
I get it, but Jesus, it went on way too long.
Yeah, I mean, it was
super awkward.
I think the only reason I was okay with it, I was like, all right, at least they're bringing some levity to it. Like, it was a good part.
Yeah, I mean, the DCEU can always use some more comedy.
And I think that's why I was kind of okay with it. I was fine with it. But what you can do, instead of making her this wide-eyed puppy dog of like, oh, let's do this, and this is what's going on, you can give her the same line, but a different intention with it.
Yes.
Where she comes in stronger and she's like, I'm going to fix everything.
Yeah.
You guys are screwed up out there, and I'm going to come in and fix everything. And then she looks around at the sheer carnage that is World War I.
Right.
And she's like, this is what's going on out here?
It can be like...
What the fuck is wrong with you
Have you seen The Fifth Element?
Bits of, I've seen I think I've seen every part of it, but never in order.
So there's a scene, I mean, throughout the movie, it's about this alien being, right? Played by, what's her face? Mia Jovovich. And she is, throughout this movie, just cycling through an online encyclopedia, right? Like Wikipedia, basically. She's just going from A to Z of just like, what's an apple? What's an aardvark? And just like reading
just
and
learning.
Just scanning and scanning, next thing, over and over and over again. And eventually, by the end of the movie, she gets to W, and she reads war.
Right.
And it's this great scene where you can see flashes of the pictures she's seeing of famous photos from various wars.
Right.
And while she's watching them and you see them reflect onto her face, she starts crying.
Right.
And there can be a moment with Wonder Woman, there's a strength and vulnerability.
Right.
And she is not vulnerable once in this movie.
Yeah.
There's very little femininity at all, actually, and strength through femininity.
Right.
One of the problems I had as well was when she's a child and they're teaching her how to fight.
Right.
Her teacher, I can't remember her name.
Robin Wright.
Yes, yep, that's the character name. Robin Wright.
I can't remember her name either.
Says you doubt yourself.
Right.
And that's your weakness.
Yes.
Maybe this was intentional, but she doesn't doubt herself. In fact, if anything, her weakness is that she's too stubborn.
You set up, in that
which is kind of annoying.
You set up what should be the climax of the scene. Of the movie.
I would almost prefer it. I would almost prefer it if her flaw was that she doubts herself too much, and eventually she realizes, no, I need to be strong.
Stronger,
and that I think would send a better feminist message anyway.
Right.
You know, that like women are constantly told to be quiet or to stop talking or don't gossip or sit down, know your place. You know, you don't get to speak at this or whatever. And especially back in the day, but certainly it still happens.
Yes.
And many young women grow up and start to doubt themselves. This could have been a great feminist sort of movie, and
where you watch her go through the same thing. Yeah, because there's a strength for a character in relatability, in the idea that I'm watching. When I go to the movies, I go because I think this is true for everybody. I go because I personally want to see myself on screen.
Yes, definitely.
And so when I go and see someone like Wonder Woman, if I'm a young woman, which again, I know these are two guys like talking about this, so I'm very aware of that.
Yeah. People often mistake you for a woman.
Very much, especially if it's just the voice that you're listening to.
Right, but it is. I
am in fact all man, baby. But.
Except for my left foot.
But if listen, it was a harsh accident, and I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
But if I'm a young woman and I'm watching a character on screen, yes, there is something inspiring on seeing just 2 hours of a strong woman. I get that, but I think there is a stronger message in showing someone that strong have doubt in herself and then overcome that.
100%.
Because that's more true to life.
Yeah.
That's more true of what the person in the audience is going to feel. There's never going to be someone who goes through the entire situation of anything where at one point they don't go, maybe this isn't going to work. Maybe I'm not good enough to do this. Maybe, you know what I mean? Well,
and I think a person is more relatable if they are not
invincible.
No, you're using really nice words. I think she borders on arrogant. Conceited.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I know that this is the guy.
Right.
How you don't trust me that I know that this is the guy? What's wrong? Get out of my way. This is the guy.
Right.
With no reason.
Well, and this is where I kind of go back to my point about switching those two plot points. Is that the whole movie, she's like, no, it's Ares, the god of war. It's Ares, the god of war. And then guess what? It's Ares, the god of war.
Yeah.
Which does nothing to help her character.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, she goes, no, see, I was right. It was Ares, the god of war. And then the war ended. So I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep, I have no flaws.
I have no flaws whatsoever.
You were dumb for doubting me.
Yeah. Exactly. Whereas it's better for, in the long run, for the character, if she's like, it's Ares, it's Ares, it's Ares, and they're like, I don't know if it is.
Yeah.
And then she kills Ares, and it's not. And she goes, I gotta take it, okay, I can't just jump into things and assume that I know everything. I have to evaluate the whole situation.
Yeah, I agree.
This is, like I said before, it's a big step in the right direction. It's not quite, they're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
They're like so close that I can see it.
This is on par. Like, they finally reached Marvel level quality.
Yeah.
Which is good.
But they're reaching like Incredible Hulk. You know what? I'm even going to put it ahead of Incredible Hulk quality.
Yeah.
And say,
I put it like around Doctor Strange. Like,
yeah,
you like Doctor Strange a little more than I did, but
I put it around like Thor quality.
See, I hated Thor.
Thor Dark World quality.
All right, I like Thor Dark. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I think most people would disagree with us because most people did not like that movie.
I actually
and we
like
both.
that movie.
I know.
I mean, I've
both
only
do.
seen it once, even though I own it.
I've seen it
I
twice.
should watch it again.
I liked
but
it.
I actually enjoyed it.
I liked it both times. Meow meow.
I'm trying to think.
Well, what do you think about the direction?
I do like the direction.
Directing was great, right?
Yeah, let's get into things we did like.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else I didn't like, so that'll be good.
I love the direction.
So good. She's amazing.
She is amazing, and she's back again.
Patty Jenkins.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What else has she done? Do
Monster.
We know? Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Good choice.
And I got to tell you, not only is it great that this is a woman director directing any movie, not only is it great seeing a woman director direct a movie solely around a woman, but she can direct action really well. Really well.
Like, on par or better than the other DCEU movies.
As much as I didn't like the motivation for the No Man Land sequence, it's a great sequence.
It's beautiful.
And
like I said, it should have just been put somewhere else, but it's got to stay.
Or just given a different motivation.
I will say as well, actually, not to go back to things we didn't like,
right.
but I do want to also mention that one of the things I really didn't like about the No Man's Land scene, and throughout the entire movie, is that she's constantly like, all these people are dying, right? She's like, we've got to save people. So what does she do? Kill everyone.
Everybody.
So like the No Man's Land scene, what that scene needed and what the rest of the movie needed was her just like knocking people out. And we see her in one scene break a rifle over her back.
Yeah.
Just keep breaking rifles.
Yep.
And then take them hostage. They have no guns.
Yeah, just
all
keep
right.
happening.
And then the good guys do have guns. Great. Just take them wherever you need them to go.
Right.
But yes, the No Man, that scene, the fight scenes in this movie are outstanding,
phenomenal,
like better than almost any other fight movie I've ever seen.
Yeah,
they're
definitely better than any DC movie.
The fight
I would
scene
even
in the
say
back
better
alley,
than good portion of the Marvel.
Sure, yes, I agree. The scene in the back alley with Steve Trevor is so
great.
Good. They have the camera from bird's eye, and you see, it's
when
magic.
the three of them surround her, and they're just fighting. And by the way, at first I was like, they don't even just shoot Steve Trevor, but at the same time I was like, no, I get it, because they're like, what the fuck is going on?
They tried to shoot him first,
right? No, I meant after that, like because he's right behind her or something.
Right.
But
now they're focused on her.
But they're so focused on her.
But they also know that if they try to shoot him, she can block the bullet.
Which, by the way, I don't know if this was done consciously. It feels like it was just in the vibe of that scene. But I think it's kind of a great nod to the Donner Superman scene, which is great. I love that and I love that it's a nod to that Superman.
Yep.
And not the current Superman.
Yep.
Of like, we can do this. We're going to go in this direction.
Should have been Superman Returns. Why didn't we have a nod to that? Why didn't they shoot the gun and then she just caught it in her eye?
It got hit in the eye? Why not? On that note, I loved that she gave the Amazonians like a specific fighting style.
Yeah, that was
cool.
That
is true to only that. Like, they're back flippy. Like, it's very...
Well, there were
very elegant.
There were a couple different styles, because if you remember, there was one character who is very large who has a very grounded stance.
Yes, she
and
does.
her method, I don't even think she had a name in the movie, unfortunately. Right. But there's a whole part where she's just standing on a rock and people are trying to knock her down, and she's just taking the hits and then shoving people. And that was not.
I missed that.
Oh yeah, it's right near the beginning, but it's not super elegant at all.
Right.
But it's interesting to see that there are different types for the different types of people.
Yeah. But I just love that, like, they're clearly it's not a specific fight. It's specific
Right.
to them, but it's not like a fighting style
Right.
that I would recognize it.
Correct.
But like just the like she does that great flip over the fence, and it's
Yeah.
not a normal flip. It's like this elegant
Yeah.
backflip.
Well, there are some insane, like, the stunts in this fucking
Yeah.
movie, and it's hard to tell what stunts and what's
great
CGI.
shield, the 3
Yeah.
arrow
Yep.
move was beautiful.
Yep.
Them coming down on the ropes is gorgeous.
There's a great part where it looks like a real thing, where a person slides down hanging off of a horse to pick up their shield off the ground and then comes back up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you got to watch this movie again.
I got it. Well, because it was very well. I mean, it was
Yes,
fast,
it's very
quickly
fast.
paced.
The 3 arrow shot is
3 arrow shot is
tremendous, and like the cool thing of like she sticks all of her arrows in the sand.
That I did love. Like,
Really good.
Because at first I thought it was a sword or something. I missed what it was,
She
and
just
then
pulling arrows.
pulls it out. I was like, oh fuck.
Genius.
Yeah.
And the reintroduction of the shield when they yell shield,
yes,
and he jumps. And
that
she
was a great
jumps.
callback. That
Yeah.
was fantastic. The thing I loved most about that beach scene, which by the way, minor plot hole that I noticed was like
What's that?
they cover the island with this like magic spell dome
Yeah.
that just makes the place invisible, and I guess creates a fog or
Yep.
something around it. But just anybody can pass through
Yep.
there. So the only plot hole I saw with that, I was like, I don't get it. No one's accidentally done this before, ever.
The ocean's
No one
very
has
big.
ever done it, ever. Like, because Diana is like, you're a man. Like, this is the first time she's ever saw a man or anything like that.
I sort of forgive it because
I was.
Well,
okay
no,
with it,
no,
but,
I can.
But you know what I mean? Like,
No,
I was like,
do. But
no one's ever done
But
this.
why
before.
would they? This is the first great world war.
Right.
Why would there would be no need.
I guess
If it was out of the way, there were channels to take.
Right. I guess the question is where is this island in
Right.
relation to the ocean?
Yeah.
Because you're right, there are channels to take, but part of me was like, but the other thing is this thing has been around since ancient Greece.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you know,
But
like,
she hasn't.
I wanted to. Well, no, but although they never really established
they
how
don't.
how old she is.
Right.
But yeah, I get it. She hasn't been around since ancient Greece. But at no point,
Yeah.
at no point has any ship or plane ever like passed through this thing that they have that Diana has never
Maybe it's
seen
the Bermuda Triangle.
anything of the outside. Yeah, I mean that's all I can imagine is that that must be the Bermuda Triangle. But that was the only time I was like, really? Because the boat just came through.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just came through no problem.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Wait. Huh?
Yeah.
That being said, I think what made that fight scene great is that I totally believed that men with guns and women with bows and arrows and swords were evenly matched.
Yeah.
Which is a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Because genders aside, those two weapons, you'd
Yeah.
think like, oh, guns will just kick their ass.
Right.
But they don't.
Yeah. It's very hard to
You
do that
built
well.
up you built up characters that I believed could win a fight against being outarmed.
Yeah.
Which was really like very impressive.
Yeah.
And that's all direction. That's
Yes.
all Patty Jenkins.
100%.
So I love that.
Yeah. She sets up scenes really well too. She clearly had a firm grasp before they even started shooting of the beats, the rhythm,
Yes.
the order the scenes need to go in order for the movie to make sense.
Yeah.
The plot holes are plot holes that can't be changed. It's very clear. Look, Zack Snyder wrote this. It was probably just riddled with shit. And I would be incredibly surprised if she did not fix it
Right.
up a lot.
She actually was the one who pushed for the No Man Land scene.
Perfect. Great.
She was like, this has to be in the movie.
That's insane to me that she even had to bring that up.
They didn't want that in. And she was like, no, this is it. You have to have her go into No Man's Land.
Christ.
I mean, it's World War One. That's the staple of World War One, is a No Man's Land.
Insanity.
Um,
What? Can you even imagine that movie without that scene?
yeah. I mean, it's also a testament to her that, like we said, the one big thing about this movie is that Wonder Woman's character doesn't change for 3/4 of the movie. She's this wide-eyed puppy dog.
Right.
And it's the same kind of scene over and over again. And she's been able to pace this movie out enough that you don't feel like you're just watching the same scene over
Right.
and over again. You do feel like the plot is moving forward, even though she's constantly saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So kudos to Patty Jenkins for making that
Fantastic.
happen.
And we talked briefly about Gal Gadot. I feel like I was concerned going into it, but I don't think there's a person who could play that role better now.
I don't think so either. At least not one that I know of off the top of my head.
Yeah, exactly.
There's, you don't have to be Meryl Streep in order to do a character like Wonder Woman.
Correct.
You have to hit a few things just right.
Well, superhero movies in general, like look at the actors we have. RDJ is a very good actor, but like Chris Evans is fine.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
you have to be a type, a type of actor,
and you have to convey strength.
Yeah.
And you have to convey strength in silence, especially for this character.
Yes.
And she does that very well.
Yeah.
As much as I couldn't stand the naivete, she does that very well too.
She does.
Which at least gave her a dynamic. She has to convey just a few key emotions, and she can do that. And she can do a lot with a little, which is really what you need for this.
Yeah. What else?
What else, indeed?
CGI.
I'm not in love with the lasso.
Yeah.
Because it's mostly a whip.
Yep.
Really, I was fine with it, except for the fact that it literally wasn't a lasso.
Yeah.
It wasn't I don't know. It looked like a cartoon.
Yes.
So I wasn't in love with it. I was like, they can do better with it. I get it. No one's ever done this before, so it's going to be...
I was mostly sold on that. There are parts where Wonder Woman is a cartoon, and that was the part... those were the parts that irked me more than anything. Was that, like, there are clearly parts that...
This is CGI?
Yes, it stops being Gal Gadot and turns into, like, a computer making a fake person.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it wasn't always on point, or at least they didn't use it sparingly enough that I didn't notice.
Right.
Because there were whole sections of it I was like, oh, this is clearly all fake.
Yeah.
And that being said, I'm sure there's actually a lot more that I was like, if they had told me this was CGI, I would have been like, oh, I didn't even have any clue. Yeah, it wasn't the best effects in the world.
Yeah, everything else more than made up for it, though, I feel. Like, those fight scenes are...
Those fight scenes
even
are
with
great.
the CGI, I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like, if she can't do it, she can't do it.
Really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to say on this
is
the only thing that would have made this movie better is if they had replaced all the women with men. Agreed?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
Absolutely.
Great.
It did inspire me to think up, and maybe this is something we can do kind of like in the vein of our last Joker storyline. It actually made me think of a Wonder Woman storyline that I think would be really interesting.
Is it if Wonder Woman were a man? Maybe a super man instead of a Wonder Woman?
Yes.
Okay.
Wonder Woman's mother is Hippolyta.
Right.
Right? Now, in the comics, Hippolyta is actually the first Wonder Woman.
Oh.
So, because Wonder Woman has been around since World War II, she was the... It's been retconned that Hippolyta was like the Golden Age Wonder Woman.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's still true after so many relaunches or something, but that was true for a while. But she had had contact with man's world before. It's also true, this isn't in the comics, Hippolyta the character has appeared in other venues. Most famously, she's a character in Midsummer Night's Dream.
Right, sure.
I think actually it would be an interesting plot line to kind of marry the two, so that as an origin story of why Hippolyta does not want Diana to go to man's world. She's gotten a taste of man's world, and it is a vague outline of what happened in Midsummer Night's Dream. Because in this story, for all you Shakespeare nerds out there who know it, it's that Hippolyta is not kidnapped, conquered by, and the Amazons are conquered by, oh shit,
Oberon?
Not Oberon. That's the
Bottom?
Fairy King. That's
who are you talking about? Which character?
There's a male duke that she has to marry, that she's supposed to marry. Hippolyta's supposed to marry.
Isn't that Bottom?
It's not Bottom. That's the guy that gets the donkey's head.
Yeah.
Nope. It's not him. Hold on. Pause.
Wait. Hippolyta is the goddess, right?
Hippolyta is the Amazonian.
Oh, Theseus.
Theseus, thank you.
You know what's funny about that? I played that character in college.
Really?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I thought I forgot. I thought Hippolyta was the fairy queen.
No, you're thinking of Titania.
Right. Okay.
So Hippolyta is supposed to marry Theseus.
Right.
Because she and the Amazons had been conquered. Right? So I'd love to see that kind of that plot line. I'm not saying like just do Midsummer Night's Dream in a comic form. What I'm saying is take the storyline of when
just incorporate it.
Yeah, when Theseus had conquered the Amazonians, and then what it was like to live under that for
and then
a while,
how did they
and
separate?
how did they escape?
Yeah.
And then they end up on Paradise Island.
Yeah, that's good.
And you can include You can include the fairy world. I mean, we have the Greek gods, so you can incorporate these mystic elements, but make Puck a slightly different character. Make so subvert whatever William Shakespeare wrote and adapt it to a comic book.
That sounds
venue.
great. Yeah, we got to do that.
But it's an origin story of why. So whenever Diana is like, well, why I don't understand, why can't I go to man's world? Hippolyta
There's
is
a better
speaking.
reason.
Hippolyta is speaking from experience on the cruelty of man
That many people know already.
that many people
Something
can kind of relate to.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Yeah.
we all know that stupid show.
It's dumbass.
I think if we end up doing something like that, it's just going to be, we're going to have 5 issues, and each one is just going to be an act of Midsummer.
Possibly. I mean, you could do that in like a 5-issue thing, and again, kind of subvert the acts of Midsummer Night's Dream, but make it a little more superhero-esque.
It would actually
make it
be
a little more action.
a really cool idea to make it like a little more actiony, but make it 5 issues, 1 act for each issue,
Right.
and like do it sort of in a Shakespearean way.
Right. Exactly.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought, but as I was watching, it was like they never acknowledged that she is a character in Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah, it's true.
And I was like, you should just incorporate it in. And Puck can be like a Mixies piddling type of character.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that at some point.
Yeah.
So, you ready to move on to reading assignment? You got anything else you want to say?
Nope, that's it.
That's all there is to say about
That's
it.
all there is. I don't want to hear any more about it.
Speaking of Chris Evans,
Yep, that's true.
Chris Evans.
So way back when, my last reading assignment was Snowpiercer.
Yeah. Is it your assignment or my assignment if I assign
You
it to
assigned
you?
it. Oh, no, it's my assignment. You give me an assignment, so it's mine.
But it's my assignment to you.
They never say if... No, it's my assignment.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I didn't want to take up this much
It's
time.
gotta
I was
be,
just
it's gotta be
curious.
my assignment.
Also, here's one.
Okay.
I asked a bunch of people this the other day, and we never reached a consensus. Actually, one of these people was Jim Fagan, who hopefully will be on the show soon.
Oh, yeah.
And I asked, when someone says something is all downhill from here, does that mean it's going to get better or worse?
Worse.
Okay. So, you're sure? Most people said, so if I say like, I did the worst of it, so it's all downhill from here.
That doesn't make any sense.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, everyone else gave me the opposite answer. They all said, oh, that means it gets easier. And I said, really? You don't ever say like...
You know, I think now that I think back on it, I'm pretty sure I've heard it used both times.
That's what I'm saying.
And it makes sense.
I think we determined that it had to do with context.
It does have to do with... You're right. It does have to do with context.
But so if someone says...
It's all downhill.
If you go to see a friend in a play, and that person says, what did you think? And they say, well, my day's going to be all downhill from here. Does that mean... They thought it was good, or they thought it was bad.
But you're right. You could say it either way. I love it. Actually, I'm going to use that for so many things now. And just not explain it. Because that's the other thing is no one's going to go... Everyone hears it and thinks that they know what it means.
Yep.
And they'll just pass by it.
Yeah.
They'll just let it go.
Yep.
Because I think it's such a general statement. And it's such a cliche statement that people don't even hear it when you say it anymore.
Exactly.
They just go, yeah, that's it. And they just move on. I love it. Holy shit. This is changing my life.
So you thought Snowpiercer was good?
Yeah, I did. I like this a lot. the first half is interesting. It's a little slow to me. Let me back up.
It's French.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've read this, by the way.
Right. Let me back up a little bit.
Back up before the first half.
Yeah, before the first half. To the foreword that they write. And let me critique that in detail. No, the overall, it's a gritty, dark story. But if you have seen the Chris Evans movie, it is not gritty and dark in that same way.
Right.
It's gritty and dark in a comment on society type of way, not just in kind of atmosphere or texture.
Correct.
The first half to me was a little slow.
Yeah. Now, it's a lot of exposition.
It's a lot of exposition. And again, part of this is I have seen the movie.
Right. Well, so I was going to say as well,
know the gist
in a movie, you can just... I mean, if you get a shot of them in the back room,
right,
you get you don't need as much exposition in a movie.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is like pretty much all of that movie is like what the first half of this book is like.
Right.
So it's them just trying to get to the front of the train.
Yeah.
And seeing different cars and da-da-da. And that's the first half of this book. It's really like laying out the world and what is going on with society. And you pick up little bits of exposition here and there. But for the most part, it's like, and now there's the religious car, and this is the greenhouse, and this is how we do this, and blah, blah, blah. And if you've seen the movie, you've seen 2 hours of that already. So the first half of this is like, yeah, I get it. It's every car's different, blah, 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 blah. Where it really picks up for me is when the disease starts happening.
Yeah. Because
that is, different from the movie. So for those of you who have not who have seen the movie but have not read the book, actually, let me start this. For those of you who have not seen the movie or read the book, I guess I should explain it. Snowpiercer is about the world has gone Arctic. I would say some kind of nuclear bomb or hydrogen bomb.
No one knows how, right? In this book, they talk about how they. No one knows how, really. There are people who are saying, well, maybe
it might be
this,
it might be
that.
that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's a post-apocalyptic. It's almost post-apocalyptic. The entire world is covered in snow and ice.
Right.
And the temperature is now dropped far below what any human being can survive.
Right.
And there is a train that was built just for this kind of emergency. Mysteriously, just for this emergency, that the entire civilization lives on now, and it continuously just runs across around the circumference of the Earth. The front half is supposed to live in great excess. The back half lives in absolute
poverty.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a different
Destitution.
word. Destitution is the exact word I was trying to think of. And then every car in between from there kind of goes in shades of that. And you get a feeling for, as they move through the cars, you get a feeling for how this train works, how these people survive, the class structure of this society that is just living on this train. In the second half of the book, a disease is talked about that is starting to kill everyone and make its way from the back to the front. And so it's a story about class structure. It's a story about, what we do to each other in order to survive. And that's where it got really interesting to me, is this idea of like, is the disease real? Is it not real? What's going on? There's kind of a mystery and an intrigue. And
well, there's a metaphor as well in the fact that how easy it is to take down the rich once how quickly knowledge spreads.
Right. And misinformation as well. Once that kicked in, it really became very interesting to me, and it moved along a lot quicker.
Yeah.
The dialogue in this, and this is because it's French. And so it's translated. Yeah. But the dialogue is a little stilted.
Yep.
So that as well, during the first half, I was like, oh, this is a bit of a slog. But then it moves very quickly. And it becomes even more interesting. And it builds up to an ending that I go, oh, I want to read more.
Yeah.
Because it builds up to an ending of him being in charge of the train and not knowing if anyone has survived.
Yep.
And kind of has like this Twilight Zone ending of like, you don't ever answer that question. You just see him being in charge of the train. And it's almost a be careful what you wish for ending.
Right.
Because all he wanted to do was get to the front of the train and become one of them. I mean, that wasn't all he wanted. But that's kind of the goal of everyone in the back of the train. Is to get up to the front of the train and become one of them. And he gets to the as far front as you can go. He gets beyond the rich and to be almost the god of this world.
Yeah.
And then he has no idea if anyone has even survived to care for. Which, by the way, the only big plot hole that I had in this is at the very end, right before he shoots out all the windows in like a fit of madness and kills the woman he loves.
Yeah.
For like no reason at all.
No, definitely.
Like none. He was like, well, what do you think about this? And he just shoots all the windows, and then everyone freezes to death. And it wasn't even like, that's the only way I can survive. Like, I have to kill this guy, or this guy's going to kill me, and I have, one bullet left, and this is the only way I can do it is to, like... He was just like, well, fuck you guys! And he, like, blew away all the windows. And
yeah, but you weren't expecting that,
I wasn't expecting it. I was like, oh, God. But then she died, and he's like, oh, no, what have I done? And I was like, well, you're a jackass.
Yeah,
That's what you've done.
Yeah, well, he's a flawed human being.
He's a flawed human being, so I guess I'll take it. But there was a moment where I was like, why was that choice made?
I mean, he probably didn't get a great education in the back car.
Yeah, but he knows if you shoot out a window, you'll die. It does make me want to read the next one, though.
Yeah. I've got some bad news about that. Maybe you will find it different. I haven't read any reviews or anything, but I've read the second one, and it is my least favorite by far. Okay. The third one it's worth reading the second one to get to the third one, in my opinion. Okay. It's very good.
It's a trilogy?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it meant to be a trilogy?
I don't know if it was meant to be. It's finished now, though.
Okay.
Like, they're not making any more as far as
No, but I meant, was this written with a sequel in mind?
I don't think anything ever is. I mean, people disagree with me on that, but like when the Wachowski brothers were like, "Oh, we were always going to make a Matrix, 3
Matrixes."
Yeah. I'm like, no, you weren't. Yeah, you weren't going to do anything unless it made money. Okay. That's sort of my feeling. Like Star Wars we would not have had Empire Strikes Back if Star Wars didn't make money.
Right.
So it's hard to say. Okay. I don't think there's anything where they were like, "Oh, we wrote one very long book and cut it into 3 parts or whatever."
Okay, that's what I'm really curious about. So it doesn't feel like they developed a full 3-part storyline and then was like, this is going to be 1, 2, and 3.
No, it doesn't. In fact, the second one feels very different. They're all 3 incredibly different stories. Okay. And I forget which ones, but some of them take place very different times apart.
Oh, okay.
You'll have to... I'll assign them at some point.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
It was definitely more than good enough to make me want to dive further into this world. Yeah. Which is always kind of the best goal that you can have in mind.
That's true.
So it's definitely one I do recommend people picking up. I'm not going to be like, the first half is slow, so fuck this noise.
And reading?
Nah, just have it on your coffee table to make you look smart.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I like to just leave it out. And when they're like, Snowpiercer, what is this? I'm like, oh, well, it's a French comic book. And
it stars Chris Evans.
As all French comic books do.
Yep.
Cool. I have to give you a new reading assignment, don't I?
Do you have something prepared?
I do. Excuse me for one moment.
I legitimately thought you were going to go underneath the table that we're at.
Yes. I kept these hidden over here so that you wouldn't be staring at them
the whole time. Is it Ghostbusters?
I should.
I see it.
It's about time that you saw these now.
Is it porn?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm giving you Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, they don't have the same cover.
They don't have the same cover, no. War for the Planet of the Apes comes out July 14th. I feel like this is a movie... I'm definitely going to go see it. I feel like this is a movie that we should probably cover. You've never seen these movies. You don't know if they're good.
Is Charlton Heston in them?
No. That is not the reaction I thought you would have.
That was my Charlton Heston impression.
This is... Let me just say this.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually a science fiction movie that even my wife wants to go see. And she never wants to go see any movies.
Yeah, but she likes the Star Wars prequels.
I understand what you're saying, and that is a valid point, and I can't argue for that. But I'm just saying, she never likes any movies that I like, and she likes this movie.
That probably means that you have bad taste in movies.
I think we've already established that as well, and there's no need to beat a dead horse. That being said, I think you should give these a try. You may actually enjoy them.
Do I have a choice?
Well, that's the other thing about this is no, you don't.
Okay, great.
So, there. So I give these to you.
Thank you. Is one of them a Blu-ray?
Both of them are Blu-rays.
Both of them are?
I think
All
they
right.
have DVDs in them.
Okay, great.
Let's
I'll
find out.
figure it out.
No, let's figure it out now. Let's do it on mic. That's going to be the most interesting thing.
Get your darned ape hands off me.
Yeah, there's a DVD.
Does anyone say get your darned ape hands off me? If you say yes, I'll see them.
Yes.
Great.
Actually, I think they do. I'm thinking. I haven't seen.
Gary
Rise
Oldman's
in a
in
while.
one of these, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in the second
All right,
one.
that'll make it easier.
Yeah, the first one, I will warn you right now, has James Franco.
Does it also have Seth Rogen?
Does this not have a DVD? Maybe that doesn't. But
It's
anyway.
fine. I'll figure it out. I've got a PS4.
Then you can totally watch this.
I'm in between places right now,
right.
and things.
But
I mean, my computer might be able to play Blu-ray, and if not, I'll figure it out.
Well, the one is a DVD. The first one has a DVD, so
All right,
you're fine.
Great.
I will warn you, James Franco is in the first one, but on the plus side, so is John Lithgow.
Oh,
So you got that.
do they play monkeys?
No.
Ah.
But Andy Serkis plays a monkey.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to give you...
All right, thank you.
All right.
You're really pulling at my heartstrings, like back and forth, back and I feel like a teeter-totter.
I know you do. Yeah.
Gary Oldman, James Franco, John Lithgow, not monkeys, Andy Serkis.
Let Andy Serkis playing a monkey and John Lithgow get you through the first one so that you can get to Gary Oldman in the second one. Rise, then Dawn. I know what a question you're going to ask me. It's Rise and then Dawn.
Oh, that's not the question I was going to ask, but
Okay.
yeah, that's a legitimate question, though.
Yep.
But no, one of them's got James Franco on the back, so I got it. But one of the things I was going to say is, how pretentious do you have to be to name a Planet of the Apes DVD the Ultimate Edition?
Pretty damn pretentious.
Oh, wow.
Is that the one with James Franco in it?
No, it's the one with Gary Oldman. That's why,
Okay,
then.
That's why. Because anything with Gary Oldman in it is the Ultimate Edition.
It already is.
Yeah.
There's actually no special feeters on this.
No, it's just
just-
it's just a 2-hour picture of him.
It's just a close-up on his face during every scene.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's
That's
like,
it.
get your damned ape hands off me. That's my Gary Oldman impression.
Flawless.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's hard because which Gary Oldman do you do an impression of?
True. It's true. I always say The Professional.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Get your damned ape hands off me! Everyone!
That's pretty accurate.
Thank you. I'm going to cut that.
Yeah, no problem. That's going to do it for us.
Yay!
We did another thing.
We did it.
We set out to do a thing,
We've not been canceled.
and then we did it.
The internet hasn't canceled us yet.
You'd think they'd get around to that, wouldn't they?
I'm nodding.
Yeah, that's fair. Hey Andrew, should we split it? You want to split it again?
Yeah, do you want to do the opposite?
All right, so I got to start off.
Yeah. Hey, Chris.
Yeah?
Where can they find us?
Well, they can find us at our Twitter handle at Media Lunch Break.
That's true. They can also find us on Facebook,
They can find us at our website, themedialunchbreak.com.
or they can email us at themedialunchbreak@gmail.com,
They can subscribe to us on iTunes.
or on Google Play Music,
or on SoundCloud.
or on YouTube. And if you Subscribe to us on YouTube. If we get 100 subscribers, we're going to start giving out free stuff.
Oh, you're going to want the free stuff.
Yes, it's so good.
Also, you can head over to Patreon and chuck in $1 or $2. Keep it going for us. Keep the pizza coming. Keep the mics on. Keep something. We're not really sure what we would
And
do
that's
with money.
patreon.com/themedialunchbreak.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's it. That's the end.
It's all but one of my digits. I still haven't. All but 2 of my digits.
Ooh.
I still haven't set up that Pinterest yet. Maybe an Etsy account.
Ooh, Etsy would be nice.
What should be our 10th thing? Eric, Fresnerd, Canadian woman. Those are all 3 of the listeners
Canadian woman?
Yes, those are all 3 of the fans that I talked to on Twitter.
I don't know the Canadian woman.
How dare you? You need to get on the level and realize who our fans are.
Okay, one, I don't
That's
think
so
on the
disrespectful.
level is an actual
How
phrase.
dare you? It's streets ahead.
Okay, Jesus.
Anyway, what the fuck was I gonna say? Tweet at us.
We need a 10th thing.
Yeah, tweet at us what our last social media. Should we get a Tumblr?
Let's get.
That would be
Okay,
hilarious.
we can either get a grinder or.
Oh my god. Or
what's the other one that's not Grinder? Is it Tumblr? No, what's the other one that's not
Tinder.
Grindr? Tinder. Grinder or Tinder?
You know, I remember when
everybody tweeted us, do we get a Grinder?
Wait,
No,
no, this isn't official yet. I remember when Bernie Sanders was still in the primaries, and someone made a. I wish I could remember what it was called, but it was a Bernie, like, voters for Bernie Sanders dating website.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah, so we could get one.
Is it still there?
I'm sure it is. What should we just list a bunch?
Okay. Which we're gonna make a collective account on a dating website.
We could do OkCupid.
You guys,
Plenty of Fish.
You guys No, I want them to tweet us.
Christian
which ones.
Mingle.
It could be Christian Mingle. It could be whatever the Jewish version of Christian Mingle is. No, there is one.
I
just
know,
can't
but
remember
that's
what
just
it
a
is.
weird way to say that.
It could be the farmer's version.
All right.
There's the farm one.
All right, I'm gonna make a poll on Twitter.
Yes. This is
We
what
can't
I-
have too many options. We only have 3 people.
No, I really want. I really want this to happen. That's why I think don't even make a poll. Just let them tweet at us what they think it should be. There might be people who listen to us who just start following us on Twitter just for this. But tweet us which we should make.
Bernie Singles.
Should we get a Bernie Singles account? So Bernie Singles, Grindr, Tinder, OkCupid.
I'm voting for Grindr. You already have one though, probably, right?
Yeah, but I'll make 2. That's
Okay,
fine.
good.
But this is collectively
To get double the dick.
If we make this account and someone tries to date us, we both only show up in tandem.
With the mics.
All dates must be recorded.
From start to finish.
From start to finish.
Ugh.
Yeah. 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 That means exactly what all of you think it means. All right. Everybody get on that. Let's start a revolution. Bye, everybody.